Hi, everybody, and welcome to Gen Friends. I am so happy to have you here tonight. As you can see, I'm yet in another place as I hop around Charleston with my father in the hospital. So tonight I'm coming from the Fisher House, which is like a Ronald McDonald House for veterans families. It's a wonderful place. So if you have one of those where you live, please support them and help out and donate food and other items to them if you can. Tonight, we are going to be talking about day 8 of Relative Race. And I have got Catherine Lake Hogan looking for Ancestors in the house. She's joining us tonight. Mary Kucharati has been trying to join us tonight, but she's having some technical difficulties. So she might pop back in and she might not be able to. So we will miss her thoughts about day 8. But day 8 was quite a night. Again, I mean, none of these episodes has been disappointing.
I would agree with that. Yeah, definitely. Yes. Some twists and turns that you don't really see coming. And I enjoyed day 8. I thought it was a really good episode.
I thought so too. You know, I missed Team Black. None of us wanted Team Black to go home. Yeah. And there was that fear because going into day 8, the green team had 2 strikes already. You know, red team only has 1, blue team only has 1. So we had a possibility on day 8 of another team going home. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking. Yeah. And also, as it gets started, it was nerve-wracking because somebody was missing from Team Green. Who was missing? Catherine?
I can't believe that. So poor Marcus and Keith, they go outside. Well, everybody gets a call, right? They all get the call. They all looking to see who's going where. And blue team, well, first of all, blue team and red team are slightly envious of where green team is headed, which is Las Vegas, right?
Exactly.
And then, everybody's packing up, hug, kiss, and get out to their vehicles. And poor Marcus and Keith get out and there's no car. Where's Dad? Where's Dad? Like they're looking at it because time is ticking away here. Every second counts. And like Marcus said, man, if we get a strike because of my dad.
Exactly. Because very important, they could have gone home. So
Exactly. So 20 seconds late and pulls up, like, Dad, where were you? Well, I had to get gas, So
me up.
Yeah, it was a little bit stressful for green team starting off the day.
Starting out. Now they showed red team starting out, and I felt like the morning was a little bit better between Liz and her biological father than day 7 meeting him because that felt real awkward. There wasn't. It wasn't that teary, I've met my biological dad. So I was worried about that.
I thought she was a little bit reserved in meeting him. And I think he was just really nervous,
too.
And what kind of response that he would get from her. So it was nice to see on day 8, the morning of before, everybody headed out to have a few moments to sit down with Hop and look through some photographs and just talk a little bit about her childhood and get to know him a little bit better.
Yeah, it was a better feeling. And she made it clear I wanted him to see that they made the right decision and that I had a great life. And if it wasn't, both of them, Liz and Maria, both made that point that if it wasn't for your biological parents making that choice to release them to be adopted, they wouldn't have had the great lives that they had.
Exactly.
And so, again, for them, this is a gratitude tour. It's not I am in desperate need to find these people. It's I'll find them and then I'll tell them thank you for giving me the life that I had. So
exactly.
Yeah, I was happy to see that one kind of started out better because I was really worried day 7 for her.
Right.
And then of course blue team goes flying out and so everybody is ready and starting the race, and then they start their trash texting again, which was really funny because they were after green team.
They were. I thought it was it was all good-natured fun, ribbing each other, and we still have to remember that it's still a competition.
Exactly.
And so I think by this point, even before Team Black left the show and got their 3rd strike, there's still there's some camaraderie there, and really they're kind of torn because yes, it's a competition, but really they don't really want anybody to leave. But yes, it's a competition.
I know that it's hard. It's got to be hard. It's got to be really hard. And what was funny, what they were saying about Team Green was, number one, they have a driver, and number two, everything they've done, it seems like Boy Scout camp or 4-H camp, because they've got to do this.
They're on vacation.
They're on vacation. They got to camp and they got to water ski. And they got to,
like
they're going to Las Vegas. It's just funny that that's the way it turned out for them. So, but I'm sure as the teams watch this back, they're going to really realize that having the driver was not the big bonus that they think.
No. I mean, if we look back at some of the earlier episodes, we've seen that. We've seen that. They've said to Dad, turn here, and for whatever reason, he didn't cool in or click in, right? And they're next thing you know, they're like, 10 miles down the road to get back to where they were. So it's not always as dreamy and wonderful as the other teams may have thought it was.
So I'm sure they're clicking on that as they watch it back, and they're going, oh, well, maybe it wasn't as good as we thought. So maybe we wanted to drive ourselves. And I'm sure it's hard for Bishop too, because I'm sure there are times where he knows they need to turn, but because the boys haven't said anything, he can't do anything.
That's right, because they were already told, if Bishop does something that the boys have not instructed, automatic strike.
I know, and they've already got two.
They put some really tough parameters.
They really
on
did.
The green team just to kind of even the playing field a little bit for the other teams.
Yes.
A little bit of a consequence for having a driver. They themselves not driving.
Exactly. How'd you feel about the challenge this week? I thought it was really fun.
This was fun. I actually kind of liked it because I had Mousetrap as a kid.
That was my first thought. It's a giant Mousetrap game.
And I had that game as a kid. I used to love that game when it worked. When it worked. And that little marble goes all the way down.
Right.
And I like the strategy employed by green team and red team. And you could see if you didn't have that strategy, boy, oh boy, I think that contributed to some of the results today for blue team is they had some frustration.
Yes, they did. They did.
Some frustration.
A couple of times it looked like he was throwing those pieces. Sean was just like,
and
it would be, I would have lost my mind the first couple of times. But they all said, once we got into this rhythm, they just had to figure out how to make it work.
Right. So they had to figure out how long the pieces were and where the pieces fit best where. Yeah. And make sure that metal marble, that ball kept rolling. And like they said, it was surprising how easy it was for the ball to stop, and dead ball. Well, the beginning, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that took some time.
They said it was the most frustrating challenge. I think I thought it was one of the more entertaining ones.
It was for us to watch, but I'm sure for them, I'm sure for them it was very frustrating. Yeah, very frustrating. So Team Blue, they come out of there. We talked about that they were running a little bit late. Team Blue gets their address. They're on the way, and then they really had some problems getting to where they needed to go. And a lot of that had to do with the map. Do you want to tell us about what happened with the map and the street name and all that?
Right. So, blue team finishes the challenge. Demetrius sees United States postal worker, right? The male guy, right? Obviously, he's going to know the street names, right? He's going to be able to direct them. So he goes running over to him, gets supposedly turn by turn directions to the relative's house from the male guy. And they're driving, they're not seeing it. Like, what's going on? And they ended up at a gas station talking to the guy at the next gas pump over. He says, no, you're in the wrong direction. You need to go back down this way, like 10 miles, right? Like they were fairly a ways, out of their way.
Yeah, this wasn't just a couple of blocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, long story short, what they discovered, afterwards at the relative's house is that the street name had changed. And so the name of the street on the sign was the new street name. the instructions or the address that they were given was the new street name, but everybody in town, all the locals, still called it the old street name. And so that really led to some confusion for Blue Team in trying to figure out where they were going and finding the correct street. Yeah.
Exactly. That really, I think that really played into the results later. I
I
really do think that played into the results.
Yeah.
They, they get there, and once again, Demetrius meets a cousin on his dad's side.
Right.
And my thought just keeps, okay, somebody has got to know who his dad is, because he keeps meeting all these cousins, but every time he meets them, they're like, no, we don't know.
And my worry for Team Blue isn't that they're not going to make it to day 10. I'm pretty sure they're going to make it to day 10.
Mm-hmm.
My worry is they've got one day left, right?
Yes.
Day 9.
Right.
And we're all rooting, we're all hoping and rooting that Demetrius is going to meet, at the very minimum, somebody who knows his dad.
Yes.
If not, his dad himself, right?
Right.
So it's getting a little nerve-wracking now, a little emotionally nerve-wracking, because we're starting to run out of time, and we know for some of the teams, they haven't met the people that they really, really want to meet, and you're kind of like, nail biter.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And what worries me, like I said too, is he meets these people and they don't know. If they don't know who the dad is, unless they made that direct DNA, connection and have found him, and he's waiting for day 9, And I'm wondering, perhaps, in previous seasons, they have done day 9 and day 10. It's been like a 2-hour special, several seasons, and they didn't do that this time. So it makes me kind of wonder if this day 9 is just going to be big.
I'm hoping, right? Now, correct me, maybe I'm not, maybe I've missed something. So that, the Hafner line, like Demetrius' family, the Hafner line, is that his paternal line?
Yes.
Okay. I thought so. I just had to get me straight on that, right?
Yeah, and that's why he keeps saying, these people all are so handsome.
Right. So we know it's the Hafner line is his father's line. Why do the big question is, why do these people not know who, Father Hafner is, Demetrius' father is?
Could very well be that they didn't know that this person had a child.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do we do that with DNA and we're like, oh my gosh, we didn't know Uncle so-and-so had another child. That might be what's going on.
Yeah.
But I love that he got to paint that sign,
that was
that family.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was nice.
With the Hafner name on it, but you can see emotions and too much togetherness time.
The paint. They had that little paint
him
fight.
And Chantal, right?
Yeah.
Because you're in a car, you're with your spouse 24 hours a day, and this is day 8. I love you, honey, but
exactly.
And you're not getting any space, any time apart. You're with your spouse, you're with your team partner 24 hours, aside from any time that you have in the shower,
they're probably taking long showers.
Yeah, right. So, tensions, you do. It's just human nature. You start to get, just even the silly little petty things start to kind of grind on your nerves. And, I kind of noticed they're taking little pot shots at each other. But you can see some of that is the emotional tension that builds up, being tired.
Sure.
Just being tired, being on the road for 8 days and those little cars, for 8 days, it starts, you can see by day 8, it really starts to kind of bubble up to the surface.
I agree with you. So if anybody
what did Shanta do? What did Shanta do to Demetrius with paint?
Well, he first said, all I did was put a little bit of paint on your forehead. Oh, that's what he said. And so of course then she does this down his face. And so he ended up staying like that and showed up at the results, the Skype call like that. So I think that was pretty funny. Pretty funny. But I'm happy for him that he's at least making connections with that side of his family. So if we get to day 9 and if they don't find Dad, hopefully there's enough clues that he can continue, just like Black Team. I mean, they didn't find their dad either, but hopefully there's enough clues that they'll be able to do that. Right. So then Green Team, Green Team got right there. They asked directions.
They had a fabulous day.
Yeah, they had a really good day. And so then they they met another member of their on Marcus's dad's side, another cousin. But what was really fun about that is the activity they got to do, talking about a vacation. What they do?
Well, they went go-karting. Well, first of all, the cousin says to them, we're going to teach you guys how to drive. And they thought, like, Keith and Marcus are like, are you serious? I realize it's go-karting. Yes. And so they go go-karting. And little did we know that Keith had some major experience, having taken his son out a couple of times go-karting. Yeah. So he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
And, he was just like, woo-hoo. He overlapped poor Marcus, and the cousin overlapped him. And poor Marcus is like, whoa. And he had some learning curve there.
Exactly. And I think what's so funny is, when they got to the Skype call and found him, it just made that even worse. Yes, you guys are just on vacation, because they were just like, oh my gosh. It's just so funny. But they were talking about what a wonderful week this has been. They've done so many things that they had never done before.
Right.
Yeah. And so it was a really good day for them. It wasn't, big and emotional, but it was just bonding and fun. And Marcus, made this comment. He said, it just goes to show that you could be on any street and the person walking past you might be related to you, and you just don't even know it.
You don't even know.
Yeah.
Even know.
So they're just, those boys are just having so much fun, and they're, and I've said this before. Marcus has always been real kind of outgoing and everything. Yeah. And Kevin's always, and they were laughing at Kevin with the trash talking. Kevin's always asleep in the back of the car, they're saying. Yeah. That's really funny. Yeah. But or Keith. Did I call him the wrong name? Keith, sorry. Keith. Yeah. Back in the car. But they're just really coming out. He's really coming out of his shell. And we're seeing that fun side of him. And I'm really loving that. As each day goes on, we're seeing more and more of his personality. Right. Then Team Red had a tough day. They had such a tough day trying to get to their relative's house. They just, the address they got was really a suburb of the town that they were looking for the street on.
Well, because I remember at one point they actually asked somebody, I forget the name of the town, and they said Chester something, and they said, are we actually in the right town? They're like, yeah, and not realizing that their relative's address was in a suburb of that city, and it was called something else. Yeah. And they finally meet somebody, and she's like, yeah, it's what Tolchester was where the relative was. And was it Chestertown or something like that? And they thought it was. And she's like, it's like you got to go way down here on like Route 20 and, way out of their way.
It was quite far out of their way. I think they had actually passed it. They had to turn around and go back.
Turn around and go back. Yeah. And Maria was having a hard time with it. Really, she was just really, really frustrated about the whole situation.
Of course, because it just doesn't seem fair to be given. It felt like they had been given the wrong town. Yeah. But it's like, I actually live in a little place called Saukesty, but my address is Myrtle Beach. And so I could see that happening. Everybody would be looking for my street. Right. It's not in Myrtle Beach, it's in Saukesty.
Right.
So that happens. It happens. And so I felt so bad for them.
Yeah.
But
it was kind of funny though when they arrived at the house, because what did Liz say about the person she met? What was the description?
Was it fuzzy face?
Fuzzy face man.
Fuzzy face man. She said that there's this fuzzy face man comes out the door, and she knew. I think she knew it was somebody on her side. Yeah. And she couldn't figure out why the face looked familiar, and it turned out to be her maternal grandfather. Right. And the reason why his face was familiar is because she had already met her biological mom. Right. And so the resemblance, she was like, oh my goodness, that's why, And he was such a loving guy. He accepted both girls. Yes. I've got these.
He's a true grandpa. That's a true grandpa there, right?
Grandpa. Yeah. I loved that. But the coolest thing too was the biological mom was around the corner. So she got to hear her daughter meet her father, meet the grandfather.
Yeah.
You know, she got
That
to
was cool.
witness and hear that. And when she came out, it was so cute. They were all, because both girls had already met her before, and they were, ah!
Yeah.
So I thought that was to see a friendly face like that, I'm sure is so good.
So I think for Red Team, I think they've pretty much met everybody
except for all the siblings, except for all the
siblings, but they've met. Siblings. So they've met. Mm-hmm. So both girls have met their biological mothers, mm-hmm. and both girls have now met their biological fathers. And then Liz has now met her
grandfather,
maternal biological grandfather. So and some cousins in between.
And cousins in between. So what I'm hoping for day 9 is maybe perhaps all the siblings, maybe a big family reunion.
Family thing, right? With all the siblings. Was it Maria's siblings, right?
Yes.
Like 10 of them?
Yes.
Right?
Wouldn't that be great? That would be a perfect ending. It'd be a perfect ending for their journey. I think.
Is. Yeah. And I'm also kind of concerned for Green Team, you know, that they're meeting all these second cousins now, because I'm thinking they're having a hard time finding the people that are more closely related to Keith and Marcus, right?
I'm wondering.
Especially Keith, because I'm thinking, okay, we seem to be meeting a lot more of Marcus's family, and not Keith's, and I'm wondering if they're having a really hard time trying to find those connections for him.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because we had that they knew where they knew who Keith's dad was, because he met, but he hasn't met him yet. So. Could be for day 9, or like you said, it could be they're having a hard time finding him. So it just might, day 9 just may be an explosive day. It just it just may be just a fabulous day. Well, they go into the Skype call. They get to introduce everybody again, which I just really love. And Dan says to Demetrius, "What is on your face?" And he goes, "Can you wipe that off?" And so the Skype call must have not been too long after they were done painting, because it seemed to wipe off pretty easily. It seemed to wipe off pretty easily. And, you know, they kind of tease each other a little bit more about what they got to do, you know, throughout the day. But that dreaded results. And I was so scared Team Green was going to go home. You want to tell us the results?
Sure. Well, I mean, we're all, I don't know about you, Cheri, but I'm really hoping that this season, all 3 teams make it to day 10. It's just a little bit more exciting if you have more than just 2 teams competing against each other. So, you know, I'm really hoping somehow, some way, all 3 teams are going to make it to day 10. And I kind of had a feeling that Team Green was going to do well. I didn't have a dreaded feeling in what they were showing us that, you know, Team Green was going to come in last. And so it was kind of a toss-up between Team Red and Team Blue, you know, where they were going to place. So Team Green, they come in first.
They came in first, so now they have just 2 strikes.
So, and they decide that they want to take the day 10 benefit because their goal is to get to day 10, and they want to have the same number of boxes as everybody Red Team, Red Team, right?
That was very smart. Very smart.
Yeah. And then Red Team came in second. Right.
Yeah.
And
and then
Team Blue got their second strike. And I think they were a little bit surprised about that. Like, that they realized that they had some frustrations, but they still thought, oh, maybe we'll squeak into second place.
I was kind of surprised too, because I thought with Team Red having such issues,
it was hard.
But I guess it was longer for Team Blue than we even realized.
5 minutes difference between second and third place this time.
Exactly. So, you know, you can't tell the way it's edited, and they don't want us to know ahead of time, you know. So
you can't tell. So they got their second strike. So Team Green has 2 strikes now, Team Blue has 2 strikes, and Team Red has
So
won.
ideally what we want, although we love Team Red, ideally what we want is Team Red to get the strike.
Right, to get a strike on day
So
9,
that
because
all
then all
three-
of them would get through to day 10.
Exactly.
So we'll see. We'll see next week what happens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so, you think the show's over at that point. You think that, they've gone through everything. And then Maria just has to get up at the end of the Skype call, and she just had to walk away.
Yeah.
She was so emotional. She said she just needed a moment.
Yeah.
And you can't blame her. It was just too much. She's doing most of the driving. That was a hard day 8.
Yeah.
So emotional that,
sometimes you just need to let it out.
Don't you?
Right? Like you realize you're on camera the whole time.
Yes.
Pretty much the only place you're not on camera is in the bathroom, right? And you're on camera all the time. You see little clips of them. So like they're having to give little clips to talk about what's going on, and talk about how they're feeling and things like that. So they're on camera the whole time, even in the car. They've got cameras. Like, how many cameras are in the car? 2 or 3 cameras in the car, right?
Yeah.
So you're constantly on camera all the time, and you're trying to keep your emotions in check as best you possibly can while being on camera the whole time. And you know what? Like she said, we're only human.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I think she held it together pretty well as they were stressing out about finding that. And they were so frustrated. And so I think that just release of, we didn't get another strike. I can't believe it. I think that just, because sometimes when we have an emotional day, once we get some kind of just stress release, that's when we break down.
But also too, you know what though? I think because they were in a safe place, right? They were with family that were more closely related, that she could let down her guard. Right.
Yeah.
And so between letting down her guard a little bit, she's in a comfortable, safe spot, and all those emotions bubbling up to the surface. Then I think she just need to let out. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's way better for day 9 having done that.
Oh, I agree.
As a woman, you know what I'm talking about. As a woman, get that out of your system.
Absolutely agree. And she had mentioned earlier, we just needed a mom for a little bit. And so she has a mom.
And there's a mom there. There's a mom there, right? Yeah, and grandpa's there. Exactly. And I don't know if that was grandpa's wife or what her relation was to the girls, but still a grandmotherly figure is there as well, right?
Exactly. So you know what? We're just grateful that they're sharing their journey. Yeah. And I hated to see her, do that. But sometimes for our own sanity, we have to have those moments, don't we?
I think it's a healthy release, right? Mm-hmm. You just get it out of your system. You talk about it, you vent about it, you cry about it, and just get out of your system. And then you're better. Move on.
Yeah. Then you're better.
Move on, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I think getting the strike, even though it's not devastating, right? They're still on the show. I just think, getting the strike today on top of all the frustrations was just kind of like the kick in the pants that they really didn't need. Yeah. It just kind of sealed the deal, kind of thing of just what a frustrating, lousy day it was. It
was a bad day.
Yeah,
so
with that.
As much as we love you, Red Team, we love you. We're really hoping that strike on day 9. Take one for the teams.
Right.
So that you can all.
Yeah. So ideally for day 9, if Red Team gets a strike, then all 3 teams go into day 10 and all 3 teams are even, right, with the number of strikes.
Right. Exactly. And what's so cool about it too, though, if somebody has to go home, they've met everyone. And that's good. It's not like, well, take the paperwork and you can meet them later. Right. They met them. We saw them meet them. That's, I guess, for us. It's selfish for us because we want to see who they meet and how the stories unfold. So, I'm very excited. I cannot believe we're to day 8. It just seems to have gone so fast.
I know it is. It is. So what? 2 more episodes.
2 more episodes, and then we're just gonna have to hang out and wait for the next one. So, Day 9, everybody. Day 9's coming up. So Catherine, so much. Thank you so much, so much for being with me tonight.
It was fun hanging with you, Cheri. It was good.
Always fun. It's always fun to talk and decide, how we're feeling about the different things that happen and discuss that. And those of you that watch, we appreciate you so much. And please take some time to, throw us a little comment and tell us what you thought about the show and what are you hoping for day 9? Let us know what you're hoping for day 9. Are you like us going, oh, please, red team, take one. Everyone looks like true blue. No, we don't, we don't want them to strike. So you just, let us know what you think. And we, like I said, we're so grateful that you take the time to watch us. It's really fun to get together and just talk. And we will see you next time on Gen Friends. And next time we will be talking about day 9. So we'll see you then. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.